On today's episode, we're talking about why ambition creates loneliness, especially for women. We are going to get into my journey from when I lost almost all my friends to the loneliness that I have felt over time and how it's really changed for me. At the end, I'm going to share with you what I've created that changed everything for me and could change everything for you. All right, let's get into today's episode. I want to start with what I call stage 1. This is where you become successful, where everything starts to change. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. I have been an entrepreneur for 20 plus years. However, I struggled in a lot of the businesses that I created. I've done so many different things, but I couldn't get success. Well, I had a lot of friends, but in their world, I was just the normal person. And when you think you're going to get successful, you think everything changes. It all becomes different, but it did in the wrong way. So what happened for me is I used to have a lot of friends, but when I started to become successful, I found out that they weren't really interested, or what kept happening to me is that they would be like, oh, well, we know a lot of other people who do X. Like, you're just one of them. And I'm sitting here going, wait, I'm in the top 1% for what I do in this business, and you're just telling me I'm one of them? That was so hard for me to hear. It actually broke me. And so I started feeling disconnected from people that I thought were my friends. They don't understand. They don't even know what I am. They're not asking me questions. Then I moved into stage 2, where we just both didn't care anymore. And I started to find myself, as I would go to these events and to these parties, I didn't have anything to talk to them about. And well, they didn't have anything to talk to me about. That actually started really affecting me negatively. I kept asking myself, did I do something wrong? Did I say something that I shouldn't have? And I noticed that we just didn't have anything to talk about. I wanted to talk about business. I wanted to talk about what I was doing, but their conversations, a lot different. I had a lot of friends who were stay-at-home moms, and they would complain a lot about doing laundry or taking the kids to and from activities. Or I'm thinking to myself, do you have the whole day just to hang out and do what you want? How can you complain? And I got to the point where I just didn't want to hear it anymore. And so I really just didn't have anything to say. And it came to, they didn't have anything they wanted to talk to me about because I didn't want to hear them complain anymore. And so that started the drift. That started me on the journey where I started pulling away and I felt like I had no friends. I had a long period of time where I felt like it was me. I was the problem. And I'm going to tell you, it was really hard. Now, out of all of that, I did have one really good friend that has stuck around with me, and she is so freaking amazing. And the funny thing is, she is a stay-at-home mom, but she totally gets everything I'm doing. She's run her own businesses before. She has a couple kids. She understands the struggle. So when we talk, it's not this just complaining thing. It's like we have real conversations about something. And then it'll be like, do you want me to give you a solution or like a tip? And sometimes we're like, no, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Or be like, yeah, I don't know how to do this. Can you give me an idea? And I love the relationship her and I have built, and we have been friends maybe even 16 years now. And so I really love that relationship. I can be myself. I could be like, I have tummy problems. And she'll be like, okay, don't worry. Like, I'm not embarrassed about life with her. And that's what I love. And that's what I'm craving so desperately, is to have a community of women around me where I can travel, I can hang out, and we talk about real stuff. We talk about what we're doing, the businesses we're creating, the struggles we have. It's no longer about having a struggle and then the person across from you says, oh, well, I have a solution. You can take my course and my course will help you get through it. I don't want that. Maybe I know you have a course, and if I think it's right, maybe I'll come. But I really want the friends who don't do that, who are there really to support you and be with you if you need it. Then my life pivoted into stage 3. I wanted to change me. This one was a hard one. Any friends that I had left, they didn't get it. The sad thing is, I love my husband to death, and I'm going to give him a shout out in a minute, but he wasn't getting it. I realized through this journey of the last 10 years, where I've really become super successful, I had to fix myself because during that time of building, I did not focus on me, and I pushed really hard, and I broke me. I broke my body, I broke my nervous system, I just broke. So I decided that it was time to fix me, because I'm going to build an empire that's going to take me to the next level, that's going to be the ecosystem that breathes, that actually funds the life I want to live. I'm not working to live, I'm living, and the work pays for it. So I wanted to really make sure that my body, my health was there. And so I started meditating to calm myself down. I started grounding, which I love to do. It makes me feel more calm. I started biohacking myself. And one of the big things, and this was probably one of the hardest things, I gave up alcohol. I don't drink a lot anyways. I never really did, but socially at parties, I would have a couple drinks. Here's what happened. These are the people you think that are your friends or your family. And after a couple events, I kept saying, no, I'm okay. I'm not drinking. I'm good. And it was so funny because event after event, you would think if someone says, I'm not drinking, after so many times, you would just stop asking or ask a question. This is the big one. No one ever asks a question like, is it a health thing? No one's ever curious about it. And so I had some close people to me actually tell me, well, that's too bad, Christina. You should drink. You are way more fun when you drink. And they giggled and walked away. And I sat there thinking, excuse me? I know you're really close, kind of family, but dang, this is something that I choose to do for my health so that I can get my system working better, that I feel better, that I'm top notch for my business and my family. And that's what you say. What kind of friend is that? So I started working on me, and I noticed this distance between other people. I was doing things that everyone else thought was weird. Now remember, this has been in the making for 10 years. So biohacking was growing at the time. People didn't get meditation was kind of weird. It's like you got to sit quiet. People are like, why would you do that? Or I wanted to just go somewhere and be quiet for a little bit. Nobody understood that. And the thing is that biohacking myself and changing myself, putting goals, getting to bed early, taking my supplements, making sure I'm checking everything in and doing everything right, exercising, grounding, meditation, all these things that I was adding and doing were so weird to people that I wanted to talk about it. But it's so hard. How do you go, hey, I'm meditating? It's weird. So that pulled me farther away from my friend group, and I felt even more lonely. Now, I want to give a shout out to my husband of 20 years, because during all this time, I would tell him, I want friends. And he would always tell me, I'm your friend. And by the way, he is my best friend. He has been my best friend for 23 years. And I tell him, I know you're my best friend. And a lot of times when I talk about the business, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, what I'm building, he's so sweet. He tries so hard. And he's like, okay, I don't really get it. How are you going to do that? So I felt like I was trying to get a lot off my chest to him. And what was happening is we were getting a little strained, because then he wanted to offer me help and support, but he didn't really understand what I was doing. And then as he's offering, I'm like, but you don't understand, that doesn't work. And he's like, but I'm trying to help. And we started arguing a lot more. And then my daughter, as she got older, I started having conversations with her. And then what I realized too is she started getting a little annoyed with it. It was like, well, Mom, if you hate it that much, why are you doing it? Or Mom, you need friends. Like, she didn't want to be hearing it. And I don't blame her. I don't want to put these things on her. And so I pulled back on all that, and I got even more lonely, and it was even harder. And now that I'm building even more, it was something that was really, really weighing on me. So at this moment, this is my aha moment where I realized I need to go find my people. So I went to this really big event. I was hoping desperately to find some friends, to find people who would be there to support me, that I can make as a friend. I didn't really find that, but I found something kind of cool. It was like a piece of diamond in the rough that I pulled out and said, there's more here. And what happened is I had a VIP pass, and we got lunch provided to us. And so I'd go into the lunch hall, and I sat at a table, complete random strangers, just started having a conversation with them. And I realized they were at the same level of business that I was at. And they were biohackers. So they got it. And then they were talking to me about other stuff they do that's biohacking. This was probably one of the best conversations I have had in such a long time. I felt like I was 5 years old. Please don't let it end. I want to keep talking. And lunch was over. We exchanged phone numbers. It was so sad when it ended. And I tried to keep in touch. We kind of faded apart. But what this showed me was that I need to go find my people. My people are out there. It gave me such hope. It was that little diamond where I was like, oh, they're there. They're somewhere out there. How can I find them? And so I was on the journey to find my people and my rooms. So what happened, I figured I'm going to go to local meetups and meet other business owners in my area. Well, some of them were 30 minutes. You had like 15, 20 people in the room. Each person spoke about what they did. And then when the meeting was over, everyone would give business cards. And you know what they did? They just wanted to sell you something. And I was so let down. I spent all that time and I went from meetup to meetup hoping they were different. So I said, okay, I'm spending all this time out trying to find these people. Maybe they're on Facebook or Instagram where I can be in these groups and I'll find the right people. So I left the meetups and jumped into Facebook and Instagram, hoping that I would find my people. Back then, you guys remember Clubhouse? I remember that one. Tried that one too. And so what happened is I got into all of these groups. Either the group was run by nobody and it was spam galore, or it was run by somebody and they were pitching you all the time. I can't build community here. This is so hard. My journey went on to finding big creators who talk a lot about what I was doing, and I was listening to them on podcasts, on YouTube. And so I'm gonna go into their masterminds. And I have probably spent about $80,000 in 18 months on different masterminds at a higher level because I'm not a newbie. Even though my coaching business online is relatively new, I've been coaching for about 4 years. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 plus years. I've sold well over $100 million in sales, but I got in these groups. I was paying to be with experienced people, looking for that connection. Here's what happened. The groups were usually two kinds of groups. The first one was creator-led. What does that mean? That means that you're inside a group, the creator is posting consistently, and nobody else is really active in the group. And so you'll see a few comments and a few views here and there, but the community is almost there just to see posts, but they're not really interacting. And then there's the second type, which is student-led or community-led group. This is where everybody's chatting it up. And what happens is you have the people inside the group who are leading each other. It's two things. One is that you have a group full of newbies. And when you have a lot of newbies, you're trying to ask questions or you're trying to make connections. They're all struggling, just trying to get going. Then the other aspect, if you have experienced people in there, you know what they do? You're always smiling and saying, yes, I do. They sell you. I can help you. Oh, I do mindset. I got a course for you. And it was just pitch, sell, sell. And I really did not like it. I was like, wait a minute. I want to build community. Why am I paying to be sold to? So I realized I'm stuck in a bind. So this is where the biggest realization came from. I lost a lot of my friends because I became very successful. I thought that my success would make our friendship stronger, but it didn't. Then I had lack of conversation. I didn't know what to talk to these people about anymore. Then I moved into being so lonely and I wanted to go out and I wanted to find people and I was trying so hard to find versions of me. I realized that the journey I was taking was not the right one. So guess what happened? I stopped all of it. And I said to myself, we're not doing this anymore. We are going to look at what we want, what we need. I shut it all down. I took about 6 to 8 months and I really thought about what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? What is it that these other women who are like me want and need? And then I built it. I said, I'm going to create the thing they need because if I need it this bad, I know you need it just as much. And I want to make sure you have an opportunity, a place where we can go and be ourselves, where we could travel together and not worry about, oh, does she see me as not good enough and maybe she won't buy my product later on. I don't care. I don't want you to buy my product like that. I want to build a space, I call it a house, where we are all like-minded individuals in this house, where we all love the same things together. And the only difference is maybe at the level you're at. And so I created the House of Cortessa. So the last step in my journey is the birth of the House of Cortessa. I wanted it to be a place. I call it a society. It could be a club, a community, however you look at it. It is a private society for a reason. I do not want it to be one of these mega groups that you pay $1,000 a year for, and you come in with all these people who are randomly doing all this other stuff, and you're sitting here going, how do I find my people in here? It's like a needle in a haystack. How do I find it? Let's take the hay away and put all the needles together. You'll find your needles very easily. That's what I've done with the House of Cortessa. You have to have a business and it has to have consistent sales. It was funny, I have somebody who's interested, a friend of mine, and she was like, do I have to be making a certain amount of money to get in? And I didn't want to put a level on that, because if you're making $60,000 a year and you're okay paying to be part of the society and you have money to come to the events, like that's the whole point, to come and socialize. So like be part of it, not just online, but offline. And you have the money and you're okay to do those things and you're amplifying your business and it's growing faster than ever. Yeah, come join. I don't want to put that money constraint, but I am putting some rails on. You have to have a business. It has to have consistent sales. I'm not going to teach you how to grow a business. So I want you to already know the fundamentals. What I'm going to teach you and I'm going to help you is how to streamline it, how to use compounding efforts and results to take a jump. I call it income jumps from wherever you're at, let's say 60,000 to $500,000 to $1 million, and make it easier each time you make a jump. This is also a private society. This is what I'm so big on. Your secrets, your struggles, your thing that is eating you alive is private. It doesn't go out. I'm not going to do a podcast saying, oh yes, I have Janie in my house and she really struggles with her business and I helped her. No, that's my secret and your secret. We don't share it. If you give me permission to share something and you want to come on and you want to share your story, like that's different, but I won't share it for you. This is a private society. There are secrets that we will keep in the house for a reason. This is not just growth and entrepreneurship and building an empire and an ecosystem that breathes. It's not just that. It is friendship. It is community. It is being with people who understand who you are. So biohacking is part of it. It's about meditation, grounding, red light therapy, saunas, what it is that we can do to calm our nervous system, get back on track. Because what is the point to make all this money, not to live a life you enjoy, not to fully be happy and present in the moment? There's no reason for that then. I want you to be able to live life and enjoy it with happiness, with a community of women who understand, who like it. So if you love grounding and you want to talk about it and you find 5 other members in there who absolutely love it just as much, how good does that feel? It's like amazing. I remember I was talking to somebody and I said, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because I just moved to Tennessee, how I can do grounding. And especially like it's really cold. So we've had a cold snap and I couldn't go outside. It was like a high, I think of like 32 degrees. And I could not go stand out there and ground. It was too cold. But she gave me a really cool tip. And I was like, this is crazy. She goes, if you get in child's pose and you get on wood floors and you put your third eye down on the wood floor and you sit flat with your hands flat down and your eye down, and you sit there for 10 minutes and you just breathe in and out, that will give you the same effect as grounding. And I was like, what? I'm like, I love that. I love that. So you learn from people who are into what you are just as much, because it matters and it makes you feel happy and joyful. What books are you reading? What are you doing? What are you learning? Like having these conversations with women at your level is huge. So in the House of Cortessa, the way it works is this. It is a limited number of people because it is private society. So we are not looking to grow to 10,000 people at all. My vision for the future, we'll see how it goes, is maybe 1,200 or 1,300 people max. And each room, each tier that I have, has a max on them as well. And the goal is that you're moving up rooms and levels. So let's say you start at the foundling level and you got the business going, but you really haven't made income jumps before. You're kind of working on it. You're kind of trying to get that ecosystem built and you're not really sure how to build it. So then you'll start there. But here's what I want to make sure that happens. This is why it's a curated space. It's not just people flood in. I'm really selective on who's coming in. I actually have a grading scale for the questions. And you have to hit a certain point on that grading scale to be considered, because I want to make sure that we are actually bringing in the right people to keep this community the way I want it. So if they come in at the founding level and I have certain tiers set up for them, the goal is that we have a good mix of people who are really experienced at this, and they're kind of like at the point where they're like, we really want that community. We really want to clean up the business and make it super streamlined. We just want to make it flow, and we want to go travel. My big thing that I talk a lot about is taking a Ritz-Carlton cruise, and that would be for the ladies in the room at the top tier. And maybe the second to top tier would be invited as well, but that's for like people at a different level. But here's the cool part. If you're at the beginning level, the founding level, you get to still mingle with these top people. You still get to see them. There'll be certain events you get to come to, where you get to mix with them. You can reach out to them with the member directory. The whole point is that if you're at a lower level, you still get to meet people across all 4 levels so that you're learning, you're growing, you're still expanding from everybody. I learn from everything and I love it. So we will have that range. So it's not going to be just all newbies or just super experienced people. It's supposed to have a mix. We have a count for each tier on when you come in, how many should be in there, when you should move up. You have opportunity to request a move up if you want. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff. The point is it has rooms. It has rooms for what you need when you need it. There's coaching one-on-one with me if you need it. I'll be your advisor in your company. I'll pull it all apart. I'll do what you need to do to really streamline it and start building. I can show you how to add other businesses into your business. I call it ecosystem stacking. So there's so many cool things that I can really help and show, but I don't want it just me. This is not just a me thing, because I want to be part of the community too. I am building this because I want it too. So think of it that way. Come in, be part of this, and build it. Now, the House of Cortessa is brand new. We are just running our first informational session, which I call an open house, where you can learn all about the house and the rooms and all of this in more detail. If you're interested, I'll link below in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, it'll be right below the video, and you'll get to see the waitlist there. Click it, get on the waitlist. You'll be asked a question if you're interested in the experience, which is a live experience being hosted here in Nashville. It is a live one. Someone else asked me, they're like, wait, it's in like online? I'm like, no, live. Come see me. Gotta come visit Nashville. It's going to be amazing. It is something you've never ever had, and you'll actually have at least a 5% jump in your business by the end of the event. If not, I'll coach with you until you do. So don't worry, you're going to get the best experience. That's why it's called The Experience. So we have these different things. Check that if you're interested in that, but get on the wait list so you can learn more about this. At the end of the day, just being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. Being a woman who is really craving that community, we are built to have that community. We really are. And not to have it, it hurts us so much more. We have a community built for us with our right people already picked for us. In this community, we're going to amplify our results, our success, our happiness, our joy 1,000 times more than what we have today. Because we can talk to people, we can have experiences, we can go do things, we can travel. You can get meetups from people even if you're like local and you know someone else is local and you meet them. Like, that's what this is all about. So as we wrap up this podcast, just remember that community is going to foster your success so much faster. That ambition is lonely. So we need to find our people. If we can take all the needles out of the haystack, throw away the haystack, put the needles in a pile, and just walk in and say, those are my needles, How easy is that? How joyful is that? And that's what this is all about, finding our community. That's why I've created the House of Cortessa, so that you can find your community effortlessly. You can live life to the fullest. You can learn, you can grow, you can be happy again. That is what we need. So thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you are watching here on YouTube, please give me a subscribe. I'm working hard to grow my channel so it will actually get pushed out to more people. Leave me a review, leave me a comment. I really do appreciate those. And if you're listening on one of the podcast channels, make sure that you leave me a review. I really do appreciate it. And follow my podcast so you don't miss another episode. Now, don't forget, every Wednesday I drop a special video just on YouTube about a topic. Maybe it relates to this one, maybe not, but it's always educational, always training, and always in line with what we're building. Thank you for listening and watching. I will see you on the next video or episode.